Hi everyone, my name is Miranda and I will be your Enchantress of Avalon, taking you on a magical and mystical journey into the lands of enchantment and into Avalon. So, for this week's video, I wanted to do a discussion on the Loathly Lady archetype, or the Loathly Damsel archetype. It is a very common archetype in medieval literature, and it appears a lot in the Arthurian legends, and it comes from Celtic roots. It was very, very common for sovereignty figures and sovereignty goddesses to test uh, potential kings and to also test champions and warriors with this Loathly Lady archetype. And I like Loathly Lady better than Loathly Damsel because I like alliteration. So we're going to go with Loathly Lady. That's what I'm going to be referring to it as. Basically, I am going to go and give a short overview of what the Loathly Lady archetype is, and then I'm going to give 3 examples found in Arthurian literature. So, first, let's start off with what is the Loathly Lady archetype? Well, that is a story where a woman who has a very displeasing visage, usually very crone-ish and very ugly hag, essentially, is requesting either a kiss or marriage from the male protagonist of the tale. Why? Well, this is a test. First of all, it's a test to see, can he handle being in a relationship with this woman who's really ugly? Second, it is a test over his moral fortitude. So, usually, almost always, in the cases of the Loathly Lady archetype, we have a figure that is testing a future king, and the king, this future king or this warrior figure, usually does the right thing and ends up winning the rule of the land and often also winning the marriage to this woman who goes from being this hag that was all just a fairy glamour to being a lovely young woman. And the 3 people I'm going to mention who are classic Loathly Lady archetypes within the realm of the Arthuriana, the Arthuriad, are all connected to Gawain. So we have Condry. She was actually Gawain's sister in most texts. She appeared in Parzival, the German version of the Percival legends. It's called Parzival, and it's the German version. And she was a Loathly Lady who was rescued by Gawain during the text. And, of course, revealed to be, his sister, and then revealed to be much, much more beautiful and younger than she appeared at first. Then I'm going to go deeper into the text for the other 2. And that is, the next one is named Ragnall, and Ragnall became the wife of Gawain. And she appears in the text of a story called The Wedding of Sir Gawain and Lady Ragnall, or Dame Ragnall. And this is a medieval text, much like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is, and that would be the next one I'm discussing. Well, Ragnall first appears and is propositioning both Arthur and Gawain about, well, what I want from you is I want marriage. I want to marry Gawain. And she appears as this ugly hag. And Gawain takes on the challenge of marrying her. And he, goes and marries her, even though she looks ugly, and, goes through with it. On the wedding night, he is with Ragnall, and it's time to, kiss the bride. So he does, in his quarters. And she turns into this beautiful young woman, and she gives him a proposition. And that is, you can either have me be ugly during the day and beautiful for you at night, or beautiful during the day so everyone could see how beautiful I am, and ugly at night. And this is a trick question, actually. And he answers correctly. He tells her, well, I want you to do whatever you want. And it broke the spell, and she got to be her beautiful self permanently. And that was the test. And you have this appear in a lot of stories with the Loathly Lady archetype, including in other medieval texts. And there is a Loathly Lady archetype that appears in the Canterbury Tales, and it's very similar. It's often about the knight or the prospective king having to answer the question of, what is that women want more than anything? And sometimes they have to go on a quest and they're asking all these different women and getting all these different answers. The correct answer to the question is always sovereignty in marriage. They want to have some personal sovereignty within their own marriages, the freedom to make their own decisions, because they are people, they are partners in this marriage. And it is a Celtic concept that women are respected as partners and as genuinely part of the marriage, not just this chattel to breed, not just this property of her father and then property of her husband, and then if she's widowed, property of her son. No, she is a person and she has her own sovereignty, her own will, and her own mind. And then the final Loathly Lady, sorry. She turns lovely later, but Loathly Lady archetype we find in Arthurian legends, of the three I'm going to go over, is, of course, contained within the text of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which I did an entire video that went over the entirety of the text of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight a few weeks ago. That was my Halloween video. It was really fun, and if you want the whole overview, I go into the in-depth bits and pieces of it. I suggest you pop over to that video. And also, I have on my blog, whiteroseofavalon.life, an entire overview and analysis of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight on there as well. If you just type in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, or even just the Green Knight, it'll pop up. Anyway, this is the figure of Morgan Le Fay in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and it is the Loathly Lady versus the Flower Bride archetype, and it's in play. And we see it when Gawain arrives at the castle of Sir Bertilac, and his lady, so Lady Bertilac is gorgeous, absolutely breathtaking. But there's this old, ugly woman, and he can't understand why she's there. She doesn't seem to serve much of a purpose. Turns out that old, ugly woman was his aunt, Morgana Le Fay. And she was there to see what happened, and she was testing Gawain. Originally, it was just a trick she was playing. She was having fun and playing a trick, and hopefully killing Guinevere in the process, because why the fuck not? She hates Guinevere, why not kill her in the process by scaring her to death with the Green Knight? Well, that doesn't work, and Gawain did take up the mantle, and he had come, and he was going to face the Green Knight again. So she was just seeing how this test was running, and she thought that Gawain really did have potential. And Morgana herself is referred to in this text as Morgan the Goddess. So we see her goddess roots, her sovereignty goddess roots, her Celtic goddess roots. And Bertilac explained after, just 3 times and just barely nicking Gawain's neck. Swings the axe 3 times, barely nicks his neck. Says he only barely nicked his neck because of him not telling the truth about Bertilac's wife, giving him a token of a green sash token to protect him. If he had confessed about that token, then he wouldn't have gotten nicked at all. He wouldn't have been at all hurt. Well, he says that Morgan the goddess transforms me. She is your aunt, your mother's sister, and also Arthur's sister. And she transforms me into the Green Knight. And she also wanted to scare Guinevere to death. When you took up the mantle of challenging me, she decided to see if you had what it takes to be the next king, potentially. You know, although I don't think it's quite phrased like that, it's essentially what it meant, is as the son of Arthur's sister, Morgause, he was in line to be the next king. This is a huge thing in Celtic literature. The son of the sister is in line to be the next king, because in Celtic lore and in Celtic times and Celtic tribes, rule passed matrilineally. That meant even though they had kings, it always passed through the female line. The son of a king did not become a king. The son of the sister of the king would become the next king. And that is why it's a true matriarchy. It isn't women above men, women better than men. Women are true equals. And although the men are technically ruling, they are only ruling through a marriage to a sovereignty figure, a sovereignty goddess or a representative of the goddess of sovereignty, their flower bride. And we see that as in Guinevere. We see it in Dame Ragnall when she becomes beautiful. She becomes a flower bride. And so we see this over and over again. And going back further, the flower bride concept is present in the Mabinogion and in the Tale of Blodeuwedd. Okay, so that's where we have this Loathly Lady in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, the goddess Morgan. So Morgan becomes the goddess figure in this text, and she is essentially imbuing Gawain with everything he needs to become the potential next king of Camelot. So, why was Loathly Lady archetype important? Well, it was important because they needed Loathly Ladies. They needed to test their kings. And it's showing the matriarchal past. It is the importance of women. Women choose the rulers. Women ensure the rulers are worthy of being rulers. So I hope this has been an informative video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I am so glad for everyone who watches and reads my blog. So you can always comment on any of these videos, comment on my blog posts, comment on my Twitch streams if you want to have this live back and forth with me. And I love all of my subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button and, follow my YouTube channel, follow my Twitch channel, which is at Avalon Enchant. Follow my Twitter, which is also at Avalon Enchant, and follow my blog, whiteroseofavalon.life. And if you just want to see me on YouTube, I will be back here next Sunday. I hope you have a fantastic week. And once again, I am Miranda, and I have been your Enchantress of Avalon. Have an awesome week.